Hi, it's Romy. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the January reading for the sign of Sagittarius. So if you're a sun, rising or moon in Sag, this general reading may resonate for you. If you're enjoying it and you'd like to support my work, you can go ahead and click on the link in the description box below to purchase the extended reading. Let's see what January has in store for you, Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius, January 2020. I got such a nice rush of energy as I was preparing for your reading, so I'm excited to see what comes forward. I think particularly as we see Mars moving into your sign on the 3rd of this month, there is going to give you a major boost, some confidence to come in, that you can actually take that move, make that bold shift or adjustment in your world, wrap something up, allow something to come to its natural fullness and conclusion. And I think that you are in this Capricorn season, you know, you've done so much of this self-reflection and analyzing and trying to understand the kind of power play between, you know, your own sense of value and worth and how that's played out, perhaps in your money story, perhaps in the relationships and the way you've been treated in the past. And you know, you're ready to sort of test out. You know, I have this kind of note for you, Sagittarius, of January being like a test bed, like where you're literally wanting and ready to see, okay, these changes that have taken place within me, how is it now going to play out as I start to implement what I now know to be true? So where I change the way that I communicate, I change the way that I'm expressing, or where I'm directing my time and energy, or what priorities I have now. And I think that Mars in your sign is giving you the boost that you need, the energy and the sense of kind of dynamic. I'm just going to be bold and I'm going to try this out. Beautiful energy to begin your reading with in January 2020 with the world coming through, Sagittarius. So, and I really feel this. I think some of you are going to start to have that sense of, yes, there is limitless potential here. Like, I'm not stuck in this endless cycle, and I'm really ready for change, and I'm ready to receive those levels of success and abundance, and you know, the value of healthy, powerful, reciprocal connections and relationships. And yeah, I think you just have a really clear vision moving through January about what it is that you want, and you're going to start to make the necessary steps to bring that about. And remember, you know, when we talk about this idea of like a test bed, it's very much kind of, you know, let's just take these short-term ideas and see how they work out. You know, as we move into Aquarius season, it's 3rd house for you. So it's very much going to be this kind of short-term planning and just, you know, not necessarily, you know, saying I've got to commit to this one way of doing things. It might be that you have to make a couple of different tries to see what really is going to work for you. And I think, you know, we're coming into Uranus moving direct in the sign of Taurus on the 11th, and that's in your 6th house, which is all about you finding an easier way, right? So, you know, possibly over the last few months, you've really recognized what wasn't working in terms of your routine, perhaps in your business where things were like overly complicated. You're now ready to really strip back. You're now ready to look at your world from a perspective that says, I'm only going to take what I really need with me on this next journey. And everything else I'll find along the way. On the 10th, the full moon is in the sign of Cancer. Likes to be there. Deeply nurturing, deeply sensitive. It is a lunar eclipse though, and it does have some challenging oppositions to it. It's activating your 8th house. So we are doing a deep dive around this point, right? 4 of Wands coming in, those still beautiful energies to support you. So here's what I feel is coming through, that even though you might be asked, or there might be energies, conversations, or revelations coming up around that lunar eclipse, you are deeply protected, you are being guided, and you are being shown that actually here's where we need to make a change to bring in more balance, more unity, more harmony, okay? For some of you, this could be specifically talking about house and home, like, you know, the sign of Cancer rules that 4th house, so it very much is about the soul family, the people we have around us, our physical homes, the places of work, where we reside, where we feel safe, where we thrive. And you know, in the 8th house, we have to be prepared to go deep, right? We're going into our subconscious thoughts here, and you know, that can be quite a vulnerable place, and certainly Cancer can deal with those very vulnerable emotional feelings. it takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable, right, Sagittarius? But I think that you're prepared and ready for that. And there's this deeply kind of enchanting, kind of esoteric, mysterious sort of energy around that full moon and the 8th house for you that I think is going to be quite necessary to help you like let go and just allow yourself to move into that kind of what do I really want? What is my deepest fantasy here? What do I want to invite into my world? And just be really unapologetic about that. The Four of Wands, though, talking to me about a moment of celebration and something for you to really feel good about. And, perhaps this is just the way that you have handled yourself, the way that you have been able to navigate through a particularly complex, difficult set of circumstances. And, you may still be in the midst of all those energies or something coming to a point of ending or completion. And of course, we still approach this major conjunction happening on the 12th, where you're being asked to really assess what your boundaries are at this moment and possibly be very challenged in that way. But I still see you finding a space that says, you know what, I'm doing the absolute best that I can do given the set of circumstances that I'm in, knowing what I now know. And with that attitude, with that perspective, I think that's really going to serve you well as you move through this month of January, Sagittarius. You are a true initiator. You've got this beautiful, mutable energy that likes the change, likes to shift and adjust and perceive the landscape. And really allow yourself to release and let go of everything that has now become water under the bridge, right? 5 of Cups energy for me is you just not being afraid to feel the feelings. That's absolutely this full moon Cancer in your 8th house. I'm just going to go there because I know it's got something to show me, something to reveal to me. That I'm unafraid of any circumstances or contrasting environments that are showing up in this month of January, because I know that all of it is helping me to become a better version of myself, to think more clearly about actually what is still here and ready and ripe for me to step into. That actually without these disappointments, without being able to mourn and grieve and allow the loss to really be felt properly, I couldn't release the attachments, and if you think about what this conjunction is really teaching us with Saturn and Pluto, it is about the kind of tearing down of old structures. And for you, in this kind of energy, it's maybe those emotional tools that you've held on to, or kind of habits or ways of thinking or patterns that have been your safety net. And I feel that they're now getting kind of cleared away. That river is moving so quickly, but you do have this beautiful bridge to come and offer you respite, offer you the opportunity to move into a different time and space, a new energy frequency, and then build something more sustainable for the future. That Four of Wands giving you a lovely, powerful platform with which to have a new vantage point on what the future looks like for you. And I think that feels really exciting. On the 13th, Venus moves into the sign of Pisces, which is your 4th house. So there is this kind of quality of wanting to nest, but I think that you're also going to be ready to kind of clear space in your world. You're going to be, as part of that, almost this idea of Feng Shui, I'm going to Feng Shui my life, and perhaps like the possessions that I have as, we're in this kind of 2nd house Capricorn season. But also the relationships that I'm in right now. This is about you maybe saying, do you know what, I don't need this huge big social circle anymore. I'm just going to streamline, I'm going to simplify, I'm going to bring in good, healthy, clean energy and have trusted advisors and people that I really count on, really that I believe in and that really I know are supporting my best and highest good. And in doing so, you are allowing yourself to step out of this kind of enforced sanctions. Here's what I feel is coming through with this 8 of Swords, right? This is where you've had enforced sanctions on your life, Sagittarius. So where have you done this? Where has this been relevant for you in the last few weeks and months? Because here's what I think the kind of the coalescing of all of these sort of provocative energies are revealing to you. But remember, 8 of Swords we're breaking free from, once we come to the understanding, once we come to the point of revelation, which you will through this month of January, all of this can fall away in a minute. this isn't a kind of long-term binding situation that is keeping you locked into a situation that you feel helpless, right? This is a short-term, perhaps moment of stress where you recognize, actually, I've been the one that's been holding myself back this whole time. Now I know what to do about it, and I'm going to start to test out different theories, right? Be curious, be experimental in this month of January, Sagittarius. Try not to attach any expectations to a specific outcome. Move with the flow of these powerful energies, and each moment they reveal something to you that feels maybe a little bit onerous or a bit heavy. Acknowledge it, see why it's been triggered, and then decide you're going to let it go, because you're being given the space to actually release and set down whatever has weighed you down, whatever has felt heavy to you. The thing I think about Ten of Wands though is, they are working to a purpose, okay? They have perhaps been built. Here's what's quite interesting, right? So we have this castle being built here, all right? And perhaps this is what it's taken, right? This hard work, this effort, this endurance, right? There's this huge sense of like endurance that you've had to bring into your world to actually be able to navigate and cope and deal with a particular set of circumstances. And it has served you in many ways because it's made you strong, okay? But it's also got you to a point where now you're ready to come to the completion, right? The 10 of Wands linking into the world and really reminding you that this is the end of a cycle and that it is time to let go and to release. You have now built something new, and it's taken perhaps some blood, sweat and tears. What is that new thing you've built? Perhaps it's just a new way of thinking, a new approach. It's a new idea of something that you've been diligently working on in your business or in your career and job. Maybe it's in a relationship that's just felt really like hard work for a particularly long period of time. But now we're in this month where you're being asked to tap into a new type of energy. And here's where you have to be careful, Sagittarius, right? Because Mars moving into your sign is bringing that boost, no doubt about it. So don't allow yourself to not look up and receive it. Each one of these cards, the figure isn't embracing of the new energy to come in. So just check in with yourself regularly to make sure that you're not operating or playing with an old way of thinking, an old pattern, or allowing yourself to be around people that are keeping you held back. Okay, this is a time to release and to be free of that, and then to enjoy this new fire energy coming in with Mars to support you, right? When we move a little bit further through the month, on the 16th, Mercury moves into the sign of Aquarius in your 3rd house. Very dynamic, very fast-paced energy, helping you to think about, here's where I want you to look at this. It's like, what can we bring in, lovely Queen of Wands, in the short term that's going to help us get to the bigger picture, right? So perhaps you might be thinking through the month of January about this big vision that you have, like where you want to get to in a relationship, where you want to get to in terms of a new home or a new way of being or something to do with your business, and it feels so kind of out of reach, it feels so far away. So here's where this beautiful Aquarius energy is coming in to galvanize and energize you. I love this Queen of Wands for you, and remind you that actually, it can be a whole series of individual steps that get us to that point. Don't feel overloaded and weighted down by how much it's going to take to get to where you need to go to. Just take it day by day, moment by moment. Revel in the energy that is being gifted to you each and every day, and you will be able to take the blessing from that, Sagittarius. You can test out new ways of thinking, new ways of being, see how the universe responds, see how those relationships around you interact with this new you. This is what I feel you are meant to be focused on in January, the experimental side of it. Not being afraid to just stand up and kind of look and see where you can do things differently, where you can do things better. The 24th of January brings in the new moon in Aquarius. Fantastic time of the month for ideas to come and for you to really start to strategize about what you want over the next 6 months. Like, this is where you're really launching some of these ideas, some of these thoughts, perhaps laying out your vision in a relationship. what it is that needs to happen for more balance and harmony to come into your world. Could be a Libra energy that you're dealing with. If it is, has there been some stress or challenge connected to that individual for you? Maybe we're at a point of completion of a particular stage of that relationship, ready to take it to the next level. Or perhaps it's you've come to a point where you feel, you know what, this has fallen short of my expectations. I'm ready to release the heaviness of it, and I want to move forward into something that feels brighter, that feels lighter for me. Really important. But justice bringing in, again, linking to the Four of Wands, the sense of harmony and unity. You know, I think that some of you may well be signing new contracts in terms of premises or homes. I think careful not to take on too much, right? There's a sense of January about, you know, as we say, experimental. So it's almost like let these bigger, bolder transits play out and see how they're going to influence the environment around you, so that you're not ending up kind of, I want to say, signed up to something that you later feel like, wow, how did I get myself into that? Okay, this is the time to just be curious and look at lots of different options that are on the table right now, Sagittarius. I feel specifically for those of you looking at work things at the moment, that's an important message, okay? And this sense of simplifying, right? Clearing out, making space. Beautiful. King of Wands, so much fire energy coming through for you. I do feel this sense of motivating energy. So really don't worry about these 5 and 8s coming through. I think honestly it's that little bit of shadow work that's going to come up through this eclipse and conjunction that's meant to just kind of show you how far you've come, but also remind you that it's okay to dip back into some of the echo of these vibrations just to see how your attitude and perspective has changed towards them. Okay, King of Wands energy coming in to really help support a better way, a different way. You know, King of Wands outlook for me, he relies on instinct, right? He's doing things very much like in the sense of reading the energy, reading where the markets are going, where the landscape is changing, how the collective is moving, and then seizing opportunities as they present themselves, okay? So you have Jupiter, planet of expansion, moving into the second house for you in the sign of Capricorn all the way through this year. Wonderful basis for you to really start to grow your levels of security, to bring in a more consistent flow of abundance, because what's changed is the way you value yourself and the way that you see what you have to offer to the company, to your business, to your clients, to the people out there, but also to the relationships in your life. So King of Wands, absolutely at ease with himself in terms of, here's what I bring to the table. And actually I can see that there's a better way of doing things. I'll look at the bigger picture and I'll tell you exactly where you need to go, where you need to focus. But there's also this experimental quality that the King of Wands brings through, which is exactly what we've talked about for you this month, Sagittarius, right? It's not a fixed energy. This is about being mutable and saying, you know what, this might be our vision today, but in a couple of weeks when things dramatically change, we're going to need to be quite agile. You know, we're going to need to have that sort of level of tenacity to say, okay, maybe that wasn't quite the right route. And remember what we said about that full moon in Cancer. It's courageous to be almost honest and vulnerable in the sense of, okay, I maybe got that wrong. Maybe that wasn't quite the best approach, but you know what? I did my best in the moment that, you know, this was unfolding, and that's okay too, because it's so much this theme of like energetic integrity that I've brought up in every reading for January, where, you know, it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to not always have the answer, or to say that you want something and then change your mind. This happens to all of us each and every day. What is important is you're then just truthful and honest and direct with people when that change comes about, and that you can express yourself in a way that's respectful both to you and to them, or to the situation. And then allow yourself to move on, allow them to move on. And that is the most beautiful way to allow these soul contracts or these situations to come to the point of conclusion or ending, you know. And I think this is really going to set you free, this giving yourself permission to just not necessarily have it right all the time, you know, just when in that experimental zone, just to say, you know what, 8 times out of 10 I'm going to make a bet and it's going to work. Those 2 times that didn't work out has still got equal value. But I tell you what you are thinking about, the seeds of new ideas and inspirations that are coming forward for you, are really going to take hold of you. They're gonna, right, there's this sense coming through of them sort of capturing your imagination, okay? I've got quite an enchanting energy that moves through this month for you, I think, with that 8th house lunar eclipse happening, okay, Sagittarius? So it's almost like captivating your imagination as to what is possible. When you fully direct your energy, King and Queen of Wands, towards this, something really magical can happen. But we have to release where we feel burdened or weighed down, or where we're limiting or you know, allowing fear to kind of stop us or hold us back. Because karmically speaking, you know, this is your time to be able to step into a new pathway, to a new energy, to a point of growth, and you have to allow it. From a relationship perspective, I think this is a powerful platform for friendship to really take hold. This is about you finding people that really speak your language, that you're really vibing with, that are motivated and excited by the same things as you, where you feel adventurous to what comes next. You know, going back into an old way of doing things just doesn't feel conducive to where your mindset is right now, Sag, right? Okay, delight, beautiful. Look at the vibrancy of colours that are coming through for you with this card. This energy of green just really coming out in the Queen, all of these cards actually, you know, right in this center part of the reading here, reminding me of the richness and the fertile soil with which you are setting these new intentions. You know, what were you thinking about around that new moon eclipse in Capricorn at the end of December, that beautiful, bountiful moment of blessings? You know, the next 6 months is about how that starts to play out, and that some of the changes and openings that are coming into your pathway, I really think are going to delight you. But this is also, I think, a nod to be more present, Sagittarius, right? It is, don't feel weighed down by, you know, what you have to achieve, you know, in the next 6 months, the next year, the next 10 years. Just go that hour by hour, day by day, and find what the blessing is in each of that. And that's when you'll really start to live. That's when you'll start to thrive in a way that allows you to be your true authentic self, okay? You know, we've got a couple of bridges happening in these cards in your reading in January as well, which I think is about you being offered the opportunity to really explore the movement toward a completely different landscape, you know, but having the support to do that, being given the space to bring that into your world. Wisdom, beautiful. Okay, you've been on a journey, you know, the boat signifying this rite of passage. Up in the clouds here, very much I think that rite of passage has been about the intellectual changes, the way that your thought forms have transformed, how you are thinking differently, how you are allowing yourself to expand your awareness of how you interact in the relationships in your life, what your energy signature has been like, what that imprint looks like. Again, the ladder signifying like support and advancement and gain for me. So I think you've got the opportunity with, you know, whatever you're thinking about or considering, to really make an impact. And I don't want you to feel overwhelmed by it, and I don't want you to hold yourself back. You know, the world is bringing in this bountiful opportunity for success. You need to seize it, Sagittarius, okay? The double 2 linking into the number 4 as well. Of course, 2020 is a 4 year, so it's asking us, where do we want to invest? Where are we going to make a powerful, solid foundation for ourselves? And really, where do we feel safe? Where do we feel supported? I think there's a lot of support going to step forward for you in this month of January. If you have felt the absence of that, is the other thing that I want to say, Sagittarius. Okay, I hope this has given you some insight for the month ahead. I'm going to go ahead and pull us some clarifying cards for the extended reading. If you want to join me for that, it's about another 20 minutes or so. It's a way for you to support my channel and the work that I do, and I would be so appreciative. You can find the link for that in the description box below. Okay, so let's go ahead and clarify the World card coming out here. 6 of Wands, yeah, beautiful. This is a time for you to step up and be seen, to show the world this new, enlightened, excited, optimistic part of yourself that's just ready to embrace the change. 7 of Pentacles, lovely. This is like the hard work that you've put in, right? Taking stock of things and just coming to that conclusion. Hanged Man and the 5 of Cups makes sense, and I think, you know, you kind of need to do that, right? You need to hold yourself in that energy, allow that spiritual feeling to activate within you what your emotions are telling you, your emotional guidance system. Yeah. Eight of Swords coming through with the Sun. Here's where I think if you allow yourself to be free of the limitations of the fear, let go of the stress, this is where you can really step out into this beautiful radiant fire energy. If this is a Leo, because sometimes connected into the sign of Leo, the Sun, again, possibly some stress or misunderstanding around a relationship there, but Chariot card seems to suggest a way forward with it. Could be a Cancerian energy that we're dealing with. I also think moving away from the challenges and restrictions. Four of Cups coming through with the Queen of Wands. Okay. Remember what I said about just making sure you're looking in the right direction to capitalize and tap into all of the rich and creative, juicy, fiery energy that's showing up and not backwards. Okay, Four of Pentacles coming through with Justice card. You have a lot of fours coming up in this reading, Sag. I really like that for you. Nine of Swords showing up as well. Okay. We'll explore what that is revealing to us. Okay, King of Wands is bringing in that Moon card. Interesting. Could be a Pisces energy here. Empress card as well. Yeah, bountiful, abundant feeling I'm picking up for January for you, Sagittarius. Ace of Pentacles bringing in the Five of Cups again. Okay, that's interesting. Maybe you're worried about something not working out. You're feeling conflicted. You have a choice to make. Two of Swords. Okay. We'll explore that. Delight coming through the Ace of Swords. Speaking your truth. Remember what I was saying? Like being okay with getting it wrong. And then just being honest and upfront. And then you can just cut ties immediately. Hierophant coming through with Wisdom. Of course, that card of wisdom. Right, if you'd like to join me for the extended, I look forward to continuing this conversation. Otherwise, thank you for supporting the channel. If you've enjoyed the reading, please go ahead, drop me a like and a comment. I will touch base with you again real soon. Thank you, Sagittarius. Bye for now.